Good afternoon and welcome to live Day 2 coverage of the Hana Bank Invitational, played here on the Victory and Challenge 9s at the Namchuncheon Country Club, just south of the city of Chuncheon. We're about 100 kilometers east of Seoul. Timothy Loh here, great to have you along for the ride. It's a 1.3 billion Korean won prize purse up for grabs this week, with just over 260 million won heading the way of the winner of the 10th KPGA event of 2024. Scoring was pretty solid in the opening round. It was a two-way tie for the lead at 6 under par. But it's Hiroshi Iwata, one of your overnight co-leaders, who's backed up that opening round of 65 with a solid 1 under par 70 to sit top of the pile at 7 under par. Yunshin Park completing a fine round of 69 this morning. Dongwan Lee posting a 67 to join Park in the clubhouse in that chair of second. This is the Park in South Korean golf, the winningest player of all time on the KPGA Tour, Sang-hyun Park, but he's battling right now to try to keep his nose above the cut line. Just picked up a birdie at 7 to get it back to even, and was well displeased with this wedge shot, and that's exactly why you see a lot of undulation in these greens at Namchuncheon. Good take go. So close to being crowned Player of the Year last season with 3 victories, including the Shinhan Donghae Open. Already a winner this season at the KPGA Founders Cup. Beat Seung-taek Lee in a playoff. And that's a pretty fine shot there from Gun-taek Ko, who's really become a very solid fixture, not only on the Korean Tour, but also on the Asian Tour, which will be teeing it up next week at Ujong Hills, where this man will defend the Kolon Korea Open Championship. Sung-soo Han, the American who goes by the name Steve. It was a pretty wild tee shot there, but does find the putting surface. Not that that guarantees you making a putt. You're going to see a lot of slopes, and humps and hollows in these greens. Now, Kinoshita, last to play in this group. Experienced Japanese campaigner, throwing a dart straight at it there. Kinoshita, even par yesterday, still even par at the moment. Now out to the back 9, and one of the pre-tournament favourites, Yuta Sugiura. Played there, allowing for some release. That's a pretty solid shot for the 22-year-old from Aichi. Younghan Song. Splits his time between the Japanese and Korean tours, so it's a home game of sorts for the 32-year-old. 2 under par. Yeah, solid shot there for Younghan. 2 top 10s already this season in Japan at the Crowns and the For the Players by the Players Championship. That was a Stableford format. Played just over a month and a half ago. Now to Tae-Hoon Lee, Richard Lee, as he's known, the Canadian former winner of this championship. Made a hole-in-one yesterday en route to a round of 67, but he's 1 over the card and will turn 1 over par. A birdie not finding its target at the 9th. Take a gander up to the 18th hole, and former Maekyoung Open champion Sang-hee Lee going for it in 2. Made some good progress on Friday. Bunkered there. Already 4 under the card is Sang-hee. Now back to Gun-taek Ko. worth 625 million Korean won last season. Yeah, look at where Sang Hyun's got to start this one at 9. Just get it to the very precipice of the slope, almost on the left fringe of the green from his point. And then it's going to really gather pace as it swings down to the hole. I mean, almost an impossible putt from up there. Is it going to stay up? No, that's going to catch the secondary slope. And look at this for Sang Hyun Park. My word. I mean, it's almost one of those situations where you'd be better off trying to chip it, in all honesty. Now up to 11, and Young-Han Song is right to lefter for birdie. I did note that the greens were looking a little bit sluggish towards the later stages of the afternoon in the opening round, but from what we've seen thus far, they appear to be a little bit quicker. Still a pretty tough putt for Seung-Soo Han at 9. Slow right up to the midpoint, then it should flatten out as it gets onto the correct plateau. Keep going, keep going. Yeah, not bad for Seung-Soo. Couple of wins on the Japanese tour. His win last year at Wujong Hills is the first time he lifted a trophy on Korean soil. Sugiura just through the back of the green. It's just going to be a par then. Park for par. Very slow working up that steep rise. And you have to say a 3-putt was always going to be a pretty strong possibility from where he left that second shot. So back in danger goes Sang Hyun Park onto that projected cut line of 1 over. Young-Han Song, his par. Biggest win of his career came back in 2016, holding off then world number 1 Jordan Spieth to win the SMBC Singapore Open. It's a couple of bogeys there for Young-Han, now back to 1 under. It was a great shot from Kinoshita, this to take him the right side of par as he heads to the back 9. Okay, very nicely holed for Ryosuke Kinoshita. Oh, being told that's a putt for par, so must have had some trouble off the tee. And with 3 professional victories on the Japanese tour, did win the gateway to the Mizuno Open in Okayama a couple of weeks ago, booking his place in the field at the Open Championship at Royal Troon next month. Birdie at 13 for Katsumata. Co-sanctioned event between the KPGA and the JGTO this week, so lots of representatives from across the North Sea and the land of the rising sun. A couple of invited Chinese players as well. Ye Wu Cheng, case in point. Now, Seung-Soo. near it for Steve. So unfortunately, that's going to be a three-putt bogey as well for the American. Won the KB Financial Live Championship 2 weeks ago on the Korean Tour. Now, Richard Lee, side hill hanging lie into 11. He does like to play with the trajectory of his iron shots quite a bit. This will be a low driving draw. Wonderfully played from Richard. Straightest hit in the game, Yuki Inamori. Going along nicely today. Birdie look at 10 from the back edge of the green. This 29-year-old from Kagoshima. He's boast 5 victories as a professional, including 2 Japan Open titles, 2018 and 2020. Now, Takahashi Ojiso started his day on the back nine. He's having a pretty solid one. It's going to get even better. Lovely pitch shot. I just love a golf course that finishes with a par 5. Risk-reward finish, really anything can happen come Sunday afternoon. Now to this year's Descente Match Play champion, Min-Kyu Kim, who bested Woo Young Cho in an epic final that went to a playoff. Actually, it took 20 holes, I believe, before Min-Kyu eventually prevailed. So bunkered with his second. Now Sang-hee, long splash shot required. You get this about halfway between the fringe and the hole. There is a downslope which should funnel that ball on. And he's going to have that putt to tie Iwata at the top of the leaderboard, still with 9 holes to come for Sang-hee. Those players that took a while to try and find his game again after the 2 years of mandatory military service in South Korea. And as it was yesterday, it is rather congested around the top part of that leaderboard. Hanbyul Kim, level past 71 today. Jungwon Lee following up his solid round of 68 yesterday with a 70 today. Kazuki Higa produced one of the shots of the opening round when he holed out on the 16th hole for an eagle 2. 71 today for the 2022 Shinhan Donghae Open champion. Now Lee on 18 to tie the lead. Very nicely played. That is a stellar front nine from Sang-hee Lee. Goes out in 31. And he joins Hiroshi Iwata atop the leaderboard here on day 2 at the Hana Bank Invitational. And Ojiso, well, he's going to get to within 1 of your now 2 leaders. Good up and down birdie for the Japanese player as well. Min-Kyu Kim, Korean Open champion 2022. Oh, lovely birdie from Min-Kyu. Funnily enough, just like Sung-Soo Han, it was Min-Kyu's first victory in South Korea. And he kissed the cup at Wujong Hills 2 years ago. Now Guntek into 12. Just pulled it a little wide there. That's going to be a short-sided save required. Young Han Song just needs to start Just putting some good swings together. Give himself some decent looks. He's 2 over the card already today with those couple of drop shots to start his backside. Bested quite the field to win the Dunlop Phoenix at the end of last year in Japan. Sugiura beat the likes of a few major champions in Brooks Koepka and reigning US Open champion Wyndham Clark, who was defending this week at the number 2 course at Pinehurst. Rory McIlroy and Patrick Cantley setting the early pace in the year's 3rd major championship there with a couple of 65s. Now, the featured group this afternoon now make their way to this 534-meter par 5 10th, and it has already claimed some victims this week. Tomoharu Otsuki, this was his first hole yesterday, took a 9, and Chan Min-jung, the former Maegyong Open champion, took a 12. Follow that one up with an 11 at the very next hole. My word, it can be all sorts of problems if you stray off the straight and narrow. Pretty much everyone's going to have to play this as a 3-shotter. Lay it up, still a pretty tight landing spot. Trouble right, big rock wall to the right-hand side of this green. And the pin today cut all the way in that back section. 37 paces on this green that can be 51 yards from front to back. So absolutely critical to have good distance control and get it onto that back shelf if you even want to have any hope of walking off with a 4. Now Kinoshita. His win at the end of May was his first in almost 3 years. Was really in the doldrums. Now Richard Lee. Lovely approach into 11, but that is the club that can give the Canadian some issues. Does tinker a lot with his choice of putter. Certainly nothing wrong with his ball striking, one of the most proficient on the Asian tour, and of course domestically here in South Korea. 5.4 billion Korean won in Korea prize money for Sanghyun Park. Sung Soo. A lot of players going with less than driver here. Just no need for the big stick. This fairway does run out into a ditch. So Guntek got to land this in the fringe. Races away downhill once it gets on the green. There's a surprise. Yuki in the Mori in the middle of a fairway. 152 left into 11. Trying to flight a short iron, sling it around off that right to left slope of the green. Or is that going to stay up? Just about. But that is going to be a rather slippery putt. There's Sugiura. That's tracking on a nice line. Straight in for Yuta Sugiura. The reigning Dunlop Phoenix champion gets to within 2 of Iwata and Lee. Some talent, this kid. Just 22 years old as well. It's going to be one of the slower putts you'll face on the 12th. Coming uphill, maybe just wants to dive a little right at the end. Just straight into the rough with his tee shot. Shouldn't really bother him too much. Like I mentioned on that flyover, pretty much everyone in this field gonna have to play 10 as a conventional 3-shot par 5. Good tech. Par saving putt up coming for the youngster. Coming off a decent couple of weeks, was 9th at the Korean match play and just outside the top 10 in a share of 13th at A1cc in the KPGA Championship last week, won by Garam John. Rock solid there for Guntek. He's only missed one cut this season. Every time he's played the weekend, he's finished inside the top 25. A few moments ago, Sanghyun Park just looking to lay it up and leave it handy at the 10th. Broomstick putter. This is Daehan Lee trying to get himself into red figures and eke away from that cut line. Good tee shot and a solid putt. It's going to take Daehan Lee to 1 under. Sung-soo. Got a slight downhill lie to contend with here. This ball's going to be coming in a little bit lower. We'll want to squeeze a little to the right. Turn that one over. But keep it in the fairway. He's quite a long ways back for his 3rd. Inamori, downhill putt at 11, pretty quick, works hard from right to left from good 45 feet. Barely took a backswing there. Yeah, nicely judged. The diminutive Yuki Inamori. Hasn't won since the ACN Championship in October last year. But he's lurking, just a couple of shots adrift of the 2 men who share the lead at 7 under par, Hiroshi Iwata and Sang-hee Lee, who still has 9 holes to play in the company of Takashi Ojiso, who's at 6 under par, and Justin De Los Santos of the Philippines. There's a brand new BMW up for grabs on this par 3 13th. Yet to go. It's yet to been claimed. Though we have seen an ace this week from Richard T. Lee. Of course, was on the front 9. And the 6th hole. Really picturesque tee shot. The ball has a lot of hang time, so if it get it started offline. We have seen the breeze a little bit swirly already this Friday. They could be heading offline for quite some time. Just playing 169 today, the 13th. It's over 180 meters yesterday. Buntek was one of those players that kind of came out of nowhere before he had the season he did in 2023. He hit lots of shots like that to almost winning the Genesis points list. Made 200 million won on 7 starts this year on the Korean tour. And Song tidied up for his par back at 12, so still in red figures. Solid tee shots into the 13th. Sugiura, Song, and Go. Out to your championship co-leader Sang Hee Lee with his second into the first, only 117 meters left. Pins tucked in the back right corner of the green. A bit unlucky, carried that a touch too far, landed on a downslope. Not the toughest up and down he's left himself through the back. Now Richard Lee into 12. So that pin just 4 from the left edge, 15 on from the front. Tilt of the front portion of the screen is from back to front. So I'll try and leave yourself underneath the hole, but not on that level. This Namchuncheon Country Club really just rewards such good distance control. You can access these pins in these little pockets of the green. You can leave yourself some very good birdie opportunities. You catch the wrong side at some of these slopes, as Sanghyun Park demonstrated at 9. Could have issues. Now, Ojiso into 1. Kim got a new caddy on the bag this year. That's Alan Lan Lorenzo. Formerly looped for Andy Ogletree for a couple of the Americans' wins. Now plays his full time on the Live Tour with a couple of Asian Tour International Series events as well. Good man to have in the bag, Lan. A little bit misjudged from Minkyu through the back of the green. That's going to be a test of his short game skills. Now back to 10 and Kinoshita's third. Got to get it all the way onto that back ledge. And he's done that. He's overdone that. Talk about playing in the Open Championship. Sung-Soo punched his ticket to Royal Liverpool last year with his win at the Korean Open. 2 Open Championship spots available next week at Ujong Hills for the top 2 players in the field not already exempt into the 152nd Open. This is where Sang-hyun usually does some of his best work. Wedges, little field shots around the greens. Should be a nice smooth gap wedge for Park. Just a little off the mark. There's the veteran Sugiura. We saw Daehan Lee hold this putt just a couple of moments ago. Putting straight down this slope, not too much break. They just had to hit it, Yuta. Minkyu got relief off that drainage cover, but has to play some kind of low shot, fire it into the bank and just have it bump over this hill. And that is the danger with trying to play a shot like that. You undercook it a bit, could very well come right back down to your feet. That's the thing about this Namchuncheon Country Club. A disaster is just one poor swing away. Richard Lee, slow putt at 12, up this little tier, will move to his right. Good effort. Nice pace on that one from the Canadian. Minkyu Kim at 11, take 2. Much better this time round, but it's going to be a drop shot for the match play champion. Song. Can he try and get back on the birdie train here? Oh, yes, he can. Fabulously held putt for Young-Han Song, who's never won in South Korea. Has 2 professional victories, coming in Singapore, JGTO co-sanctioned event, and of course back in Japan. Good acceleration through that one for Ryosuke Kinoshita. Nicely played. Now go. Try and get himself to 2 under. Oh yes. Wonderful for Guntek Go. How'd you like to be in your early 20s and already a 4-time winner as a professional golfer? Sang-hyun Park. Birdie putt on 10 to get him back to even. Comfortable Friday afternoon on the back 9. And you're just hanging around on that cut mark. It feels like you don't have any room for error, which you don't. Outside opportunity for Sung-Soo. Take himself to 2 under. Good try, just a little wide. Tried to get away, but thankfully for Ryusuke Kinoshita, that one grabs a piece of the cup and tumbles in for his par. Now Inamori, middle of the fairway once again, but coming in with the heavy artillery here, long way back, 190 meters into this pin at 12. Found the ground under repair section, so he'll get a free drop from that. It's still going to be a tricky little up and down left for Inamori. As we peer back up this 13th hole, down by the green. Just became a father for the first time at the end of last year. Richard Lee welcomed a beautiful baby girl into the world. So this has really changed his perspective on life and of course golf as well. There are just more important things out there than trying to chase a silly white ball into a tiny cup hundreds of yards away. He really is one of those players that you feel is overdue another victory on tour. Just gives himself so many chances. He's in the thick of things so often on Sunday afternoons. Only a matter of when, not if, Richard Lee wins again. Fearless, straight at it on this par 3. Now Sang Hee pitching back up the hill on 1. Pretty straightforward up and down for Sang Hee to stay level with Iwata. First look of the day at Ren Yonezawa. Opened with a level past 71 yesterday. Playing alongside Richard Lee. Talking to it is the 24-year-old. Oh, and for good reason. Graduate of Tohoku Fukushi University. Have one win on the JGTO. That was the Crowns, prestigious one at that, back in the start of May. Close of the 65 there. Jiso. First win as a professional, Takahashi Ojiso, but he's only one back with 8 to play here on day 2. Meanwhile, on the other side of the golf course, Sanghyun Park and Company will make their way to this par 4 11th. As expected here, an elevated tee shot. You come sweeping and swooping downhill. Fairway does camber quite severely from right to left. You can pitch it on the downslope and get a little extra kick and run, sending it down to the flat portion of the fairway, but you will have to expect a hanging lie for the most part. This green is 51 paces deep in the pin today, all the way on the back tier, very much like it is on 10. It's 43 paces from the front, 7 from the right edge. You can use the contours, throw it up right at that pin, try and sling it around, ride that slope and funnel it close to that back flag. You see a lot of players going with less than driver though, not trying to challenge that downslope, about 285 meters off the tee. Hang back a little bit, give yourself a Slightly flatter lie for your second. Of course, playing from an elevated tee, you don't have to go with driver. You're going to get a little extra hang time and distance with your tee shot, so players preferring position over power at this par 4. Second part, looks like he's got that trusty hybrid out. Predominantly a drawer of the golf ball, so this sort of tee shot set up nicely for his eye. Taking his free drop in Amori now. Does he try to bump this through the fringe or play the big high flopper? He's got the hands forward, bit of shaft lean, so probably try and play a slightly lower pitch here. No, that was a very curious shot from Yuki Inamori. A head scratcher. Steve with that driving iron, that 2-iron. Nice catch, but where's this one going? Looks like it's a little right. Oof. Well, it does open out a little bit there. I'm not sure if that stayed short of the trouble. Surely you've got a 4 caddy down there that will signal back to Steve. Rummaging around in his pocket. Suspect it might be a provisional. Guntek up ahead at 14. Coming up the hill for this second shot. Well played. In the correct section. It's always priority number 1. I believe that's a ball in the air. Steve Hahn, provisional on the way. First tee shot out to the right. Has it stayed short of trouble for the Korean Open champion? We will have to see. Young Han Song got it to a nice flat spot on 14. In fact, he's got a bit of an uphill lie, which is going to help him elevate this one. Using that slope just like Guntek Go. Now Inamori for par, back at 12. Uphill, working from right to left. This is a very strange passage of play for Yuki Inamori. Poor second shot, a dubious chip, and we've still got about 3 feet for bogey as we go back up to Sugiura's second shot. Trying to skip it up the slope instead of use the backboard like his 2 playing partners, but also very nicely judged. The day 2 action underway at Namchuncheon Country Club here at the Hana Bank Championship. And it's Iwata and Lee, Korea and Japan, who share the lead at 7 under par. Second shot for Sang-hee Lee, just a little baby lob wedge from 55 meters, pin in the front of the green. Oh, got plenty of spin on that one. Sang-hee Lee, he has certainly got it locked in today. That's to take him 6 under par for his round and into the solo lead. Richard Lee, this one's going to move from his left. It is for birdie. It's so tough to start it high enough, coming across that shoulder for Richard. Cut line will come at the end of play today. Low 65 and ties at the moment. That mark 1 over par. Not that that's going to bother Takahashi Ojiso. Just a soft little 30-meter pitch. Took a big swing at it. Expect some spin on this. That's the problem when you're a little bit too close to the green sometimes. You just don't have enough speed to make the ball spin. Make it stick quickly. Now, In Hoi-He, very popular player in South Korea. Unmistakable yellow golf ball and long flowing locks, and that takes In Hoi-He to 1 over par to relative safety at the moment. Yeah, it's 1 in a row, In Hoi. Let's have a couple more. Kinoshita, top of the hill at 11. Releasing that right hand over, trying to turn this one in from right to left. Okay, pretty solid shot. Yonizawa for his birdie at the 13th. Well, I think that reaction says it all. Must have been one violent lip out. Got it to the bottom of the hill at the 11th, Sangyun Park. Just a couple of players just unable to get their approach shots to grab into these greens, and it's really flummoxed some of these boys. Richard Lee for his par at the 13th. Oh dear. Just certainly looked like it took a little bobble. That's an untimely 3-putt. Richard Lee will drop back to 2 under. So unable to find that first ball. So now has to play the provisional. That's in play. This is now 4th shot for Sung Soo Han. And that's not going to hold the green. Through the back goes the American. Good tick go at 14. Down this little trough. Should stay fairly straight on him. Good try. Min-Kyu Kim looking to make amends after that sloppy bogey at 11. Is that going to ride up the slope? Is it going to stay there? Oh dear, I think not. Young-Han Song. Has he learned anything from the putt of Guntik Go? Oh yes, he has. That's 2 in a row for Young-Han Song. Beautifully holed. So he'll move himself back to 3 under. Puff for the cheeks. It's a tough old grind out there, Namchuncheon Country Club. Sanghee's got a good look at birdie upcoming, but this for the moment is to tie Ojiso for the lead. To left for Utah. Oh, and it's going to move him up to 6 under par and into a share of third. Lovely golfing from Younghan Song and Yuta Sugiura over the last couple of holes. Now for the outright lead at 2, Sanghee Lee. Not a tough putt, just outside right edge with good pace. And he is feeling it. Sanghee Lee with a 6th birdie of the day. You're looking at your new leader of the Hana Bank Invitational. Itamori did make his putt for bogey at 12. So 5th shot for Sung Soo Han in full crisis mode. Oh dear, Steve, what are we doing? That is just Namchuncheon in a nutshell. Playing nicely. All of a sudden, you're looking at double, if not worse. Minkyu ahead at 12. That one tracking, but going to come up shy. Good try from Sang-Yun Park. I told you he was pretty good with the wedges around the greens. So 6th shot now for Sung Soo. And he's going to have that for a triple bogey 7. Awkward hanging lie in this left rough for Sugiura at 15. Count his lucky stars that the pin's in the back right, so not as tricky a shot as it could be. This one should start to sling around. Oh, just too much steam on that. It'll roll through and off the left-hand side of that green. Kinoshita, excellent birdie opportunity. Has it got the pace? It does. So Ryusuke Kinoshita with the 2nd birdie in 3 holes starts to make his move. Perfectly placed tee shot for Younghan Song at 15. He can keep his foot on the gas pedal here. Started that left, trying to cut it back towards the pin. Like Sugiura, just a little too far left. Park for his par. Remains perched on that projected cut line. Flirted with the fairway bunker off the tee shot, but that ball's on grass for good tick go. So for a triple bogey 7 to drop him outside that 1 over par safety net. That is going to be a bit of a blood boiler for Sung-Soo Han, who started his day so nicely with those 3 straight birdies, but now finds himself in need of a couple more just to ease any pressure coming up the last. Now to 14 and Richard Lee. Don't want to miss this green left. That pin's only 5 from the left edge, so expect this one to be at least 15 feet out right of the pin. Yeah, solid. Exactly where he would have been looking. Inamori at the 13th for birdie, slightly downhill. Can't believe how much that turns at the end as it loses pace. It'll be a harmless 3 for Yuki Inamori. Going with driver using the far left side of that tee box, trying to open up the angle of this fairway. Sankyun also going with driver, which is right around 255 meters carry with this club. There was a bogey on the previous hole. I forgot his chip shot ran past the hole. We saw him hold the putt from the short side, so now he too, like Sung-Soo Han, is 2 over par. Good tick. He's got a little rise to contend with here. Looks like he's trying to pitch it into the slope and just have it tumble on up. Sung-Soo just got to take a couple of deep breaths, refocus here. Lost the tee shot on 11 outright. This one's heading out right as well. Okay, I believe that is his tee shot, so it's in play. But the swing's just deserted him all of a sudden. By the sides of those practice swings, it's safe to assume that Sugiura is taking the aerial route here at 15. Oh, what a shot. What touch from Yuta Sugiura. Do one bang. 18th, 2 over par for his round today. He started on the back 9, so he's got 9.5 holes left to play. just off the edge of the green here. We've seen how quick the second half of this is going to be. Nicely paced. One of the good guys in Asian golf, Yong Han Song, very popular figure. Always indulges his fans with autographs and pictures, and is a real pleasure to play golf with. To your new tournament leader, Sang-hee Lee at the demanding par 3 third. Pins guarded by that round bunker just short. Doing the right thing, looking out to the left. I don't think that's going to stay on the green, but he's left it in an okay spot. Okay. Go for another great escape. Just lacked a little conviction. Jiso. Need to look up left here. Nothing good lives short right of this pin on the par 3 today. To tumble a little left as it gets to the cup. Can't get much closer than that, unfortunately, for Richard Lee. Just going to be a par. Bang at 18. Get himself a little closer to that projected cut line. Sangin Park. Nice tee shot at 12. It's down the left-hand side of the fairway, but still a long way in 181 meters. It's a strange shot. Did that one come off the bottom groove of the club faces? That landed a good 40 yards short of the green. In for par for Nguyen Bang. He's going to need to find something special in his back nine. So I can just about see the top third of the ball for Sung Soo. This was going to come out with a bit of topspin almost. Safe to say, I don't think he likes that. And that's why. Greenside trap. That's no gimme up and down. You'd much rather be where Sang-hyen Park is. Now, Inamori, second into 14, coming up this hill. Gosh darn, you pitch that in the hole. It's going to worm its way off that slope. Shot. Kinoshita doesn't hang about, Ryosuke. Really quick golfer, and we always like to see that in the game of golf. Sang-hee Lee now leads by 1, courtesy of a 6th birdie of the day. He sits alone at 8 under par. Hiroshi Iwata done and dusted for his round at 7 under, and it's a quartet who follow closely behind at 6. Got the club face laid wide open for his second of this par 3. Good shot from Takahashi Ojiso. The slopey greens around Namchuncheon Country Club can give some golfers nightmares and a couple of head scratches, but it really opens up the creative mind of the professional golfer. So many different ways to try and access some of these hole locations. Can you use slopes to your advantage? They're not always there to funnel balls away from pins or reject mediocre approach shots. You can try to use them to help. How does Sang-hee Lee want to play this from the back of the par 3? Not very well, unfortunately. Just misjudging the amount of release he was going to get on that one, coming from the second cut of rough. Richard Lee coming off a slight uphill lie into the 15th. Even 130 meters left for the Canadian. Oh, but guesses wrong there. That's rolled into a bit of a bare patch through the back of this par 4. Just gone off the boil a little bit. Richard Lee over the last couple of holes. Now Sang Hee to stay at 8 under par. Has yet to drop a shot today, Sang Hee. Well, he has now. So just as quickly as he moved into the solo lead, he'll drop back into a tie with Iwata. Which means Takahashi Ojiso is going to be only one shot back. Nothing like gaining a stroke on the leaders, having only made a par. Young-Han Song. Let's look at the par 4 16th today. Pin was in a pretty simple spot front right yesterday. It's all the way back today, 38 from the front. We heard how firmly Young-Han's ball pitched on the green. Imagine Sugiura's going to have to get this one coming in almost vertical if he wants to stop it quickly coming out of that left rough. He's done just that. Kinoshita nowhere near it for his birdie at 12. It's a little right on 15, it's a little left on 16. Good take go. Imagine he'd be overly thrilled with that effort. Seen a few of these missed already. Not on this occasion for Ryosuke Kinoshita. Picturesque par 3 13th tee up from way above the level of the green. You've got a big bunker to the right and, well, water right of that. And that ball spends a good extra couple of seconds up in the air, so it'll come down like a sack of potatoes with not much around the pin today. Cut 13 from the front edge and just 5 from the right. Playing just a shade under 170 meters today. So really it's no more than an 8-iron with the elevation for these players. A fine shot from Ryosuke. Song going to be very quick once it gets on the green. Should move hard from left to right. dropped another shot, so back at 3 over par. Got close at the SK Telecom Open, one of the big 4 tournaments here in South Korea, losing the playoff to the evergreen KJ Choi tournament hosts, walking away with the spoils on his birthday, no less. But that's the closest Sang-Hyun Park's come to a victory this year. Good take-o. 1-0 in playoffs this season, 2-0 in his career. Pachara Kongwat Mai at Sky 72 for the Shinhan Donghae Open title back in September. Will be returning to Sky 72 for this year's Shinhan Donghae Open. Can't wait to return to Incheon. The cooler months of September. Getting rather warm in South Korea at this time of the year. Exceptionally warm Korean summer as Richard Lee craftily nudges that one through the rough. Chance to save a par. Jisoo across to the 4th and pins in the front left today. 100 meters left. You should expect some spin on this one. It's a nice full number. Can really rip at this. Toss it past and draw it back off that slope. Very nicely played shot. Bunkered at 18 is Katsumata. Let's play a long chunk and run here. Don't need to clip it with spin. Catch that slope, catch that slope. On the cup there. Right rough. Just got to be worried about tugging this one left into the penalty area. It's going to come up short for Sang-hee. Oh, that's okay. Only not too difficult of an up and down he's left himself. Tie the lead at 16, Sugiura. Oh, he was robbed there. It was tracking, just somehow defies gravity. Par at 15. Yeah, very good up and down for Richard Lee. It's those kind of putts that keep around together. Young-Han Song. Bit of work left in this one. Just that knee knocking range where you have to be positive. Keep it inside right edge of the cup. Yeah, good putt for Young-Han Song. Yeah, Sang-Hyun Park. Don't want to leave it too late here. Could do with one of these bonus birdies. Nice pace. It's only going to be a par now for birdie at 18. Katsumata. Always looked like it was going to struggle to get there. Still 3 under par at the halfway stage of this year's Hana Bank Invitational. Round of 69 today from Rio. Kinoshita, can he get to 3 under par with this birdie putt at 13? Oh yes, he can! It's been a very efficient track round Namchuncheon this afternoon for Ryosuke Kinoshita. It's a 3rd birdie in 5 holes, and he's just inching his way up the leaderboard. Now Inamori, ball well below his feet on this 15th. Trying to hit some kind of high towering cut into this back left flag. Just pitched a little soft in that fringe, unlucky. It's a solid leave nonetheless. Sanghi. So many options of how he wants to play this shot, but it's one that a professional would expect to get up and down 9 times out of 10. Yeah, left wanting there. I wonder if that chip shot that went scuttling by at the par 3 is just in the back of his mind. Young Han Song at the par 3 17th. Hardly saw anyone able to keep it on the green yesterday. Pins in the back section of the green once more, but on the right-hand side this time. So slightly downhill, but nothing that's going to concern him too much to tie the lead. He's got it, you know. Oh, Takahashi Ojiso draws level with countryman Iwata and playing partner Sanghi Lee at 7 under par. Peter Sugiura. Little wrist break at the top of his back, so he keeps that club pointing almost at the sky. That one's not going to hang on to the back edge of the green either. Sanghi to avoid back-to-back drop shots. Okay, calmly rolled in for Lee. But it's 3 players now tied at 7 under. Can Guntik go somehow hit the green on this borderline impossible par 3? Not quite. Oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Look at this for Guntik go. Ah, so that's the secret. You don't want to hit the green. You want it to finish on the green. Little bonus roll out there for KPGA Founders Cup champion. Now Inamori up and over this hill for birdie at 15, moving from right to left. Nicely judged. T-box at the 14th. Kinoshita going with 3-wood. You can start this at that right trap, just turn a little draw off it. Fairway does pitch from right to left as well. situated 100 kilometers east of Seoul and just slightly south of Chuncheon. Nam Chuncheon Country Club, our home this week at the Hana Bank Invitational. The projected cut line sitting at even par, and that's only 7 shots behind your 3 co-leaders, Iwata, Ojiso, and Sang-hee Lee. Ojiso at the 5th, going with driver. This 27-year-old from Aichi grabbed a share of the lead with a birdie back at the 4th. Started his day on the back 9, and well, it's 2 Japanese players and a South Korean who lead the way here on day 2 of the Hana Bank Invitational. Sang-hee Lee. Years of age now. 4-time winner on tour. Hasn't won since his triumph at Namseol 7 years ago in 2017. He sits 35th on the Genesis points list and 38th on the money list through 9 events this year. Kinoshita at 14. His little run of birdies going, 3 in the last 5. Ooh, but guesses the bounce wrong, and he's going to have to work out the pace from the wrong level of the green at 14. Han Song just through the back of 17. This is a sidewinder here, really kicks hard towards the right once this one lands on the putting surface. A pretty well played pitch. Sanghyun Park. A slight downhill line always makes it a bit uncomfortable when you're playing to a green that sits above you. That's more like it. This one's going to work back off the slope. Good shot there for Sanghyun Park. He's battling. Successful as he's been through his career, still means so much to make every cut and every tournament he tees it up in. Sugiura. He got some touch on his game or what? Has all the tools, Yuta Sugiura. He's not afraid to use them. Brave man to bet against the fact that he's going to be a factor come the final round Sunday. Richard Lee on the 16th. Birdie opportunity. It's right around a third of these. He's probably due for one. And there it is. Finally, Richard Lee gets one to drop, and he'll move himself back to 3 under. Still a lot of swing from the right for this birdie. Surely that's going to drop for Guntek. He's absolutely relentless. You think he's given up a shot and bounces straight back. Lovely birdie. Third birdie he's made on the par 3 today. Guntek go. Song. Par. Very handily done. The former Singapore Open champion. So, how do you get this one close if you're Ryosuke Kinoshita? There's your simple answer. You don't. Just a mistake with that second shot. Miscalculation of yardage. uphill to this right-hand pin on the 5th. That pitch is a little bit softer. It could kick left. Now he's got a diabolical chip shot from the wrong side of that green. Now, come on, Sang-hyun. You need this. Especially with that cut line at even par. Wandered a little left. Nothing going the way of Sang-hyun Park this Friday. Sang-hee. The one place you don't want to miss this pin is outright, so anything pin high left will do. That's actually worse than Takahashi Ujiso's. He's left himself on a downhill lie. That will be next to impossible. Kinoshita with, it's like the par-saving putt upcoming to keep his scorecard tidy for this second round. Ooh, just wiggles it in the front. Well done, Ryusuke. Yuki Inamori off a fairway. Well, I never. Second to the 16th. He's gone through the back of the green as well. This pays the price. You miss these fairways. This rough is unpredictable. So tough to read lies from the thick stuff. Richard Lee back on 17. Can he do what Guntek Go did and use that little sideboard right at this par 3? He's pitched that exactly where he would have looked, and he's still tumbled over the back of the green. Daihan Lee, last time we saw him, he was rolling in a putt for birdie at 13. This from off the green now with 18. Safely through to the weekend. 1 under par. Sang-hee is looking at a spot just short of the fringe. It's taken a lot of trust and commitment to fire it into that. Oh, look at this. Oh, he's played it too well. Stuck like glue. And that is unlucky. Expecting that to a bit of a hotter bounce through the fringe and then have some forward momentum to release it down to the hole. It just stuck on him. Sandpaper. Kinoshita at 15. Against his natural shot shape, this fairway. So he's going to venture into that popular spot in that left rough. Jiso, he's got the club face open, hands low, so he's playing this like a mini bunker shot. He's looking to land this on the green. Just carried it a little bit too far. Gosh darn near pitched it in the hole. A couple of tricky par-saving putts coming up for the co-leaders. So we go back to Sang-hyun Park on 15T, who, like Kinoshita, predominantly moves his ball from right to left with a little draw. straight on him, and it looks like it's caught that fairway bunker. Richard Lee hoping to putt this one. Well judged. Good par. Richard Lee will keep him 3 under, and that's only 4 shots adrift. Namori. Land this out a little bit left. Just have it kick right towards this pin. Not bad. Missed a par putt at 3, made a good par putt at 4. This one just outside of 10 feet at 5 for par. Well done, Sang-hee Lee. Made it tough on himself, but emerges unscathed. Jiso putting from the opposite side of the hole. So for a par 4. Has finished the season a 3rd place at the Crowns. Led going into Sunday. 2 at the Mori Building Cup. Led going into the final round before a 74 left him in a share of 12th. Hiroshi Iwata emerging the champion there. So he'll tumble out of that share of the lead, leaving just Lee and Iwata. Now Young-Han Song at the par 5 closing hole, 249. It's within range for the South Korean. Get it on the green, but it's not going to make it all the way up that slope. Still 2 good hits there from Young-Han Song. We'll have an eagle putt in a couple of moments' time. And Yonezawa. Good try at 17. Sugiura. Finish with a flash. Pitch that green high. Settle. Oh dear, oh my goodness. That's out of bounds. Wow, I did not see that coming from Yuta Sugiura. I think he's going to be surprised to find that that's actually gone OB. Now Lin Hoi-he. Last chance Salou needs a birdie here and an eagle at 18. Lin Hoi-he looks like he's headed for an early exit once again in 2024. Fourth shot for Sugiura. Says provisional, but we all know that one's past the white paint. And that one's going to go nowhere near the back edge of the green. Does have 4 top 10 finishes this season in Hoi-he. Barring an albatross at the closing hole, it's going to be a 3rd missed cut, 4th missed cut of the year for the veteran Kinoshita. You always find these really awkward. Ball well below your feet, sitting down in the rough. shot out of bounds on 18, reloaded. So now playing 4. He is more than likely going to drop at least a shot in his final hole. Sang-hee, the site of Richard Lee's ace yesterday, winning him a brand new massage chair. On 17T. You know what you have to do? Throw it out a little right. Left of the pin. Absolutely no chance of holding the green there for Inamori. So you see the left half of this green kicks pretty hard towards the pin. Could look to land this in that left fringe, and it should feed towards that flag. Started that right, the pin, trying to turn a draw back towards the stick. I'm not going to keep it on the right level. It's safely on the putting surface, but it'll be a slow one for Jisoo. Sang-hee Park's third to the 15th. Really on the struggle bus here. The seasoned veteran. Look at this. How about that for a pair of hands for Sang-hee Park? Wonderful shot. It really is a wizard with the wedges. So what was a three-way tie for the lead? It's back down to a two-way share between Iwata and Sang-hee Lee. Takahashi Ojiso just dropping a shot. Yuta Sugiura looks like he's going to be dropping at least one. With the second shot at the par 5 18th, venturing beyond the white paint out of bounds. Yeah, Guntek Go also had a bit of a misadventure at the last, now playing 5. Sugiura's 5th shot. Trying to drive one in low. A couple of hops with some check. Inamori, poor looking lie on 17. This was going to come out tumbling. Played that very nicely. Excellent shot from Yuki Inamori. Kinoshita do what Richard T. Lee did and drive it through that back bank. Just maybe a little bit too much loft on that club for Kinoshita, who's under pressure again to try and keep that card squeaky clean. Coming up the hill for Takahashi at the 6th. Give this one a full whack. It's going to be slow, particularly late in the evening. Watch out! Oh, had a look, didn't it? Great putt. He's been in this position a couple of times already this year. He's only made 3 cuts on the Japanese tour. 2 top 15 finishes out of those 3 weekends played. Now Young-Han Song won a 2nd title on the Japanese tour at the KBC Sansan Augusta Championship in August last year. That's going to be a nice 2-putt birdie to end his day. Certainly be sniffing around with 36 holes still to come. Nicely poised at the halfway point of this Hana Bank Invitational. It's a nice round of 70 for the South Korean. Sang-hee Lee to reclaim the solo lead. Right to left uphill putt at 6. Just laboured to try to get up to the cup. So that par will keep him tied with Iwata. Hiroshi Iwata actually had it to 10 under par before a bogey on the 3rd and a double bogey at his closing hole to eventually sit at 7 under. Now Guntek to avoid a double bogey at 18. And that's a really frustrating way to end the round for Guntek Go. A 7 at the last. It's going to be another cut made this week for Guntek, but really like that tee shot on the 18th back. Sugiura for a bogey. Double bogey for the Dunlop Phoenix Open champion as well. He'll end the day alongside playing partner Young-Han Song at 4 under par. Still very much in the conversation this week at the Hana Bank Invitational, with 260 million won up for first prize out of that 1.3 billion Korean won prize purse. Scoring opportunity upcoming for Sang Hee Lee to try and get clear of Iwata. Starts with a good tee shot though at the 7th. Nice bit of pinball out of that right rough and just about keeps it in the fairway. Kinoshita for par at 15, yet to drop a shot today. Sold a couple of really nice par-saving putts this back nine. She's going to finally run out of luck at this par 4. Back down to 2 under goes Ryosuke. First blemish of the afternoon. Jiso. You've got to trust it. Send this tee shot out right. Outside of this hole does pitch quite aggressively back towards the fairway.
Okay, set, shot.
Splits the middle. Great tee shot. Can be quite a claustrophobic driving golf course. John. A lot of elevated tee boxes, tree-lined fairways. Really have to be on it from tee to green. The job's not done there. Find the wrong section of some of these surfaces, you could be struggling your way around, like Min-Kyu Kim, who's back at even par and on that cut line. Likes to hit little fades, so this pin sets up well for him. This could be good. This could be good. Okay. Standing on the cart path at 18, but electing to not take a drop. The lie must be okay. He's going to find the inside bunker, well, a bunker, and that's going to be a very tough third shot. He's left himself a lot of sand to come over, about 40 yards. That'll be a real test for the Canadian. The site of Kazuki Higa's hole-out yesterday. 16th, Sanhyun Park. Great par save back at 15, but he will need to run the tables to have any more golf to play in Chuncheon this week. Yeah, it's going to feed off that slope nicely. Decent shot from Sanghyun. Of ways to play this. The only way you can get this close is he's got to be brave. Try and pick this really clean. He's got a bit of a slope past the hole, which offers him some margin of error. And on the side of caution. Just looked out long there. Did the right thing, Richard. Kinoshita. Back part of this green doesn't slope as violently towards today's hole location as the slope past the opening round pin. Again, these greens have been firming up a little bit. Gotta watch that first bounce. Doesn't help when you can't even pitch it on the green. That was poor from Ryosuke Kinoshita. Jiso, second into the 7th. Looks like it's just going to be a layup for Takahashi. Don't think he's going to get to the green from 267 with just an iron. He's surely going to be a layup here as well. Or just nestled up against that thick collar of rough. Just have to play this par 5 the conventional way. Club with the second has now left Kinoshita through the back of 16. Ball looks to be sitting okay in that rough. Just got to allow for some release. Upper deck on this 18th, flat for the first 10 feet, and gently rides downhill all the way into that bull where the pin is for this second round. Yeah, great line. Have to settle for par. Richard Lee going to moving day at 3 under par, seeing the first win of the year and a second Hana Bank Invitational title. Seung-Soo Han, it's been a real struggle for him since that triple bogey to start his back nine. It's not going to make the American feel any better. So Yonezawa. Par on the last. It's going to be a round of 1 under 70 for the Crown's champion. 24-year-old safely through to weekend action here in South Korea. Now Sanghyun Park, this one's got to go. Looks good. Just ran out of steam. I think he knows that could be his race run this week at the Hana Bank Invitational. Min Kim could just make his stroll up 18 a little bit easier if he can somehow sneak this 30-footer in at 17. We saw this in the opening round as well. The greens really do slow up significantly later in the evening. It's just gone past 5 o'clock local time here in Chuncheon. So third shot for Ojiso. 796 meters, licking his chops here, but you need to fly it at least pin high. There's a slope short which will reject the ball towards the front of the green if this doesn't cover its full yardage. Okay, safely aboard. Keep your focus on these. Inside right edge. Oh dear. Oh dear, oh dear. He's going to need a 4 on the 18th hole, Min-Kyu Kim. Unforced error there for the match play champion. Now Sang-hee, a couple of yards closer than Ojiso. Fine shot from Sang-hee Lee. Kinoshita to avoid back-to-back drop shots. And it was such smooth sailing through 15 holes and through 14 holes, and all of a sudden back-to-back bogeys for Ryusuke Kinoshita have him heading in the wrong direction. So the par 3 17th, really a demanding tee shot, over 200 meters long. The shallowest green you're going to find here at Namchuljeon. Green, that right side of the green is going to be our main focus today, with that pin 22 from the front and 12 from the right edge. That right section does kick quite hard towards the left. But if you do pitch on the green, this putting surface is so firm. So many balls just go shooting on through into that back rough. It's just a tough hole that asks a very demanding question. That's not even with the wind up yet this week. It was a little bit swirly when we came on air about 2.5 hours ago, but it's calmed down significantly throughout the course of this back nine. That sounded thin from Sanghyun Park. Just sneaks it on the front edge, but yeah, he is really battling something in his golf swing this afternoon. Still not done rolling, look at that. Tumbling further and further away from that back right hole location, and wow, look at the putt. Sanghyun Park's left himself. Ojiso for birdie at 7. To move back into a share for the top spot. Not going to stay up. The answer is no. No, just the par. This is a 5-iron, maybe even a 6-iron for Ryosuke. That's an excellent shot to leave it in that section. Stay on the green. So it can be done. Fine strike from Kinoshita, but just look at how humpy that green is. It's like a potato chip, that thing. Now for the outright lead, once again, Sang-hee Lee on 7 for birdie. Just denied. And he can scarcely believe it. He'll remain deadlocked with Iwata. With 2 holes left in his second round. Check in with Yuki Inamori. Third shot to 18. Expect this one no worse than 10 feet away. This man's wedge game. I've seen that a couple of times from Yuki today. Just unable to get any sort of spin on his wedges. It has been a bit of a bizarre day watching Yuki Inamori. Still these even par fours around, and Very much in the thick of things. Same can't be said for his playing partner, Bio Kim, who has struggled mightily in this second round. Less than driver on 8 is Sojiso. A little extra run and release down that right half of the fairway. Inamori quickly got up to the green at 18, now playing 4. It's a little clumsy. About 8 feet for Inamori and around a 71. Sanghi staying aggressive. He's got driver here from this elevated tee box. Steady. Oh my goodness. Now, was it really necessary to pull out the big stick? Does he know that that's in the penalty area? It's just strange choice of club from Sang-hee Lee. Sangin Park. I think he's doing the right thing here. He's chipping it even though he's on the green. There's nothing in the rules of golf that say you have to putt it when you're on the putting surface. And the good news is that projected cut has moved back to 1 over par. The bad news for Sangin Park, he's only got 2 holes to play, so you want to shallow out the low point here, pick it off the top of that green. And how's this for a golf shot? How's that for a golf shot? Sangin Park, teach me your ways, master. Some greenkeepers who would get very nervous watching the members at their local clubs try that. And there's a reason why this man is the most successful on the Korean tour of all time. But he's still going to need something special on the par 5 18. That's a really good par. It counts as a 2-putt, even though he's only used his putter for 1 of those. But Sangin Park will need a 3 on 18. Yuki Inamori for 11 past 71. Okay, coaxes that one in. A bit of a strange day for Yuki Inamori, but he's going to keep himself inside the top 20 with 36 holes to play. Suki also in this group 3 under, but he's going to be missing out after starting his championship with a 9 yesterday. Bio Kim 8 over par for his round. He's going to be heading for an early weekend off, I should say. Like everyone from that spot has missed that low. That stops the run of bogeys with a par at 17. Exactly the week he was hoping for leading up to his title defense next week in Chonan at Wujong Hills. But hey, a weekend off maybe do him some good. Again, that's glass half full thinking. if I'm being completely honest, no one likes missing cuts as a professional golfer.
左は何ヤードあるんですか、あれ。
Jiso.
ピンのラインのPH はいくつぐらいですか。
Slight downhill line. You see that pin just cut on the left-hand side of the green. As caddy say, got 9 yards of room left of that flag. Really, I expect this one to be starting at the TV tower. Took off on a good line. Oh. Great distance control. Beautiful shot from Takahashi Ojiso. Take a bow. That was pure. This is Filipino Justin De Los Santos, who's not had the best of days. The forgotten third player in this group with a very awkward looking stance and lie. Here an 8 back at 5 over par. Got into this field by virtue of being a fully exempt member on the Japanese tour. Money and points counting towards both order of merits in Korea and Japan. So De Los Santos not going to be adding any more Mercedes points to his tally this season. And for Sang Hee Lee with again that very strange decision to hit driver off the tee. Brought some trouble into play. Found a penalty area. He will drop and play 3. See the name there of Tsubasa Ukita. It's just picked up another birdie. And get to 6 under par. 7 years removed from his last victory on tour. There's 2 years of military service in there as well for Sang Hee. He is such a disruptor for so many of these Korean professionals. Really plucked away from the game at the, you could argue, would be the prime of your career, the prime developmental years of your career. The only way to get out of that is an Olympic medal or an Asian Games gold medal. So a huge accomplishment for the quartet of Siwoo Kim, Sung Jae Im, Lee Bin Jang and Woo Young Cho snagging gold in Hangzhou towards the end of 2023. Olympic Games in Paris coming up in a couple of weeks' time. They contested at Le Golf National, French Open and Ryder Cup venue. It's a wonderful recovery from Sang Hee Lee. He's given himself every chance to escape the 8th with no damage done. And Min Kyu Kim. Greenside bunker at 18. That cut line falling back to 1 over par. Min Kyu Kim, nothing crazy here. That's an excellent shot. That's a really good shot from Min Kyu Kim. Look at this. Well, he's safely through. Gosh, Dandia gave his caddy Alan a heart attack, but they're going to survive the halfway cut at this year's Hana Bank Invitational. So this birdie from Min Kyu Kim now means there's 61 players at even par or better. You need 65, low 65 and ties will make the cut. There are still a couple of players out on the golf course who could affect that mark. Ji Jong, Yushi Ito, Tomohiro Ishizaka, they're the one-overs who are still out and about. A couple of two-overs as well. The former KPGA champion Sungbin Choi, Jun Seok Lee, former winner here, 2 holes to play. But Sang-hyun Park, this one heading right. Oh dear. He needs a 3. No point in playing it safe. It's 3 or nothing for Sang-hyun. Now Sung-soo. Got to find some positives to take out of this week. Yes, it's been a very frustrating back 9. I'll start it with that triple bogey for Sung-soo, but he's got a big week ahead of him. He gets to defend the Kolon Korea Open title. The best of the Asian Tour will return to South Korea for the second time this season. It's going to be a stacked field. Cannot wait for it. I'll actually be on the ground at Wujong Hills covering the action with 3-time Asian Tour winner Anthony Kang. So looking forward to your company on the Asian Tour's broadcast of the Kolon Korea Open next week. Always love coming back to South Korea. Great food, wonderful people, lots to do for everyone. Be a lot of screen golf and screen baseball played next week, I imagine, as well. Maybe you'll throw in a KBO baseball game to boot. Now, enough talking about my itinerary for next week. Let's get back to Takahashi Ojiso, looking to convert after that excellent approach. This to tie the lead. No, start it right, we'll stay right. Los Santos for par. Pretty sure that's a putt for par. We saw him go long left, so it's going to be another drop shot. It's just going to be a learning experience for Justin De Los Santos. Been a pro a couple of years now. Still trying to find that spark, find that magic formula. You can see him contend on a slightly more regular basis. Not to say that once you have it, you keep it for life. I mean, Sang-hee Lee here, a perfect example, was on top of the world, 5 wins. By the time he got to the age of 25 and none since. He was a 32-year-old seeking to end that winless drought this week at the Hana Bank Invitational. This is a par putt after straying into the heather with his tee shot. And that is going to make him feel very good indeed. Tell you what, he's made some really good putts for par on this back 9. So Lee will remain tied with Iwata at 7 under par. The likes of Yunshin Park, Dongwan Lee and Takahashi Ojiso just 1 shot adrift as play starts to wind down this Friday evening at Namchuncheon Country Club. So 1 hole left to play in the day of Sang-hee Lee, who's made 6 birdies and a bogey today to move into a share of the lead with Hiroshi Iwata. So missed 4 of his last 6 cuts. The 2 times he played the weekend, he went into the final rounds, well, the final 2 rounds, in a share of 2nd place at the Crowns and a tie for 8th at the Mori Building Cup. Didn't manage to convert any of those into wins, though. He's still seeking his first. Now, Sang-hyun Park. Tee shot was safe at 18, but obviously no chance to go for it in 2. Just has to lay up here and hope for a miracle with his 3rd. Sung-soo. Four missed cuts already this season, including one last week at the KPGA Championship. Besides his win at the KB Financial Live Championship, his best finish outside of that was a tie for 34th at the SK Telecom Open. Those were weekend rounds of 74-76. Easy. Oh, that rolls the other side of the cart path, and that could have easily gone where Yuta Sugiura did and roll out of bounds. Well, he had to hold it, gave it a go. Good thing he's still managing a smile. Been a little scrappy tee to green today, Sang-hee Lee, but that's the big difference. You can hold putts. Nothing is impossible. Ojiso handily placed in the middle of this fairway. Playing to an elevated green, you tend to expect a little bit more spin on wedge shots. The air hasn't had enough time to create enough friction to reduce the amount of spin by the time the ball gets down back to your level, if that makes sense. It's got more spin and it spends less time in the air. So just something to take note of for Ojiso. Right, As unlikely as it may be, Sang-hyun Park is this to make the cut. A brave try, but this will be the last hole that Sang-hyun Park plays in this year's Hana Bank Invitational. It should be slightly less than a full wedge shot for Sang-hee Lee. Doesn't have to worry too much about spinning this off the front of the green. All about distance control. You want to be in that little shelf where the pin is cut today. It's on that middle right segment of this green. Okay, he's found that shelf. He's got a look to take the solo lead into the weekend. Here in 2, Kinoshita. Still not on the green in 3. It's just a poor pitch from Ryosuke, who was going along so nicely before those drop shots at 15 and 16. Sung-soo got a drop off the cart path. Wasn't going to play it off the drainage cover, obviously. But like Sang-hyun Park, he's headed for an early exit in Chuncheon this week. Though he's off the edge of the green, it's a pretty straightforward little chip for Kinoshita. One that, every now and then you can make, so expect this one to at least scare the hole. You got to hit it, Kinoshita-san. It was online. He'll be the only player in this 3-ball to continue his trek and search for a second win of the year. That's a 1 under par 70 for Ryosuke Kinoshita. Really a round that promised to be so much better. But there'll be more golf to play and more opportunities to be had for Ryosuke Kinoshita. Dozen wins on the KPGA, 2 in Japan. And it's going to be a second miscut of the season for Sang-hyun Park. And that's golf, isn't it? When it doesn't really matter, you make one. Missing by 1 or missing by 10, it's still going to be an MC for the second time this season for Sang-hyun Park. 2 runner-ups and 2 miscuts, but he'll end his week with a birdie 4. Now, Ojiso on the other side of the golf course for a birdie. To temporarily move to a share for the lead. Ooh, settle down. Wow, rush of blood to the head there for Takahashi Ojiso. So, 4 cuts made and a win. But this is going to be a 5th weekend off this season for Sung-Soo Han. And that's just salt in the wound right there. It was 2 under par at the turn for the championship and just imploded on the back 9. So, can Sang-hee Lee take the outright lead through 36 holes? This on his final hole of the day for a birdie 3. It's got to keep going. No, it's going to come up short in the jaws. Have to be content to be level with Hiroshi Iwata through the first 2 rounds, but that's a fabulous round of golf today. A 5 under par 66 for Sang-hee Lee. 7 years removed from his last win on tour. We'll start the weekend at 7 under par. It was a little unnecessary stress on the last, but it'll be a par for Takahashi Ojisa, who backs up an opening 67 with a 69. The 27-year-old will be 1 shot behind this 32-year-old and the 43-year-old Hiroshi Iwata. It's been an eventful second round here at Namchuncheon Country Club, so let's get you up to speed with some of the action that we saw today. Hiroshi Iwata was absolutely flying. This wonderful approach into the second hole yielded a birdie, which took him 4 under par for his round and up to double digits under par for the championship. And then at the third, Sung-Soo Han defends his title next week at Wujong Hills at the Kolon Korea Open. Started his day with 3 straight birdies and really had his eye on the top of the leaderboard at that stage, but little do we know what was going to happen a little bit later on. Yuki Inamori, bit of a strange day, as we said in the broadcast, for the 2-time Japan Open champion. This was one of his highlights, an excellent approach shot into the par 4 8th, leading to a birdie 3. And at 16, Sang-hee Lee playing in the afternoon wave, starting on the back 9, picked up birdies at 10, 11, 13. Got that one to throw out an anchor right next to the hole for a 4th birdie of the day. And he would go on to pick up another at the par 5 18th. Sang-hee Lee turning in 31 to grab a share of the lead with Hiroshi Iwata. And then at 10, the match play champion from this year, winner of the Korean Open 2 years ago, Min-kyu Kim, would pour in a birdie to start his back 9. And at 12, winner of last year's Dunlop Phoenix Open on the Japan Tour as an amateur, beating the likes of Brooks Koepka and Wyndham Clark. Yuta Sugiura had the putter working. That was a great birdie at the 12th. At 13, Yong-Han Song had a couple of bogeys working on his scorecard, but he quickly recovered the situation with that nice birdie at the 13th. Playing alongside Song was now 4-time tour titleist Gun Taek Go, Shinhan Donghae Open champion, with a birdie of his own. At the par par for 14th. Young Han Song would find back-to-back birdies. 2016 Singapore Open champion, rekindling some of that putting touch that saw him best at that point. World number one Jordan Spieth to the title at the Sentosa Golf Club. And making the turn with a share of the lead, Sang Hee Lee would grab the solo lead with that birdie at 2. At 11, Ryusuke Kinoshita was just quietly going about his business. Picked up a birdie at 9, par 10, poured that one in at 11. So all of a sudden, Kinoshita had it up to 2 under par. And then at the 4th, there was a 3-way tie for the lead when this one dropped for Takahashi Ojiso, who was playing alongside Sang Hee Lee. Saw his name move alongside Lee's at the top of the pile. And at 16, Richard Lee, who had a 3-putt at the 13th, couldn't really get anything to drop all day, would finally bin one to take the Canadian to 3 under. This is the second Hana Bank Invitational title in 3 years is Richard Lee. Young Han Song found the green in 2 at the par 5 18th. Wasn't to be the flashy finish, but a simple 2-putt birdie takes Young Han Song into the weekend at 4 under par. Min-Kyu Kim with a 3-putt on 17 just gave himself a little bit of nerves coming down the last, but the cut line moved to 1 over par. Min-Kyu made certain of the fact that he was going to stick around for weekend golf in Chuncheon. A nice up and down for birdie. 36-hole total of even par, 142. Sang Hee Lee had one final chance at the 9th to take the solo lead, but a putt that never really had enough pace to get there. So through 2 rounds here at the Hana Bank Invitational, it's Lee and Iwata who lead the way at 7 under par. Well, we certainly are primed for a terrific Saturday ahead. The best from Korea and Japan contesting this 1.3 billion Korean won Hana Bank Invitational. And it's a Japanese and a South Korean who share the lead at the halfway mark. Looking forward to your company for moving day action from Namchuncheon Country Club tomorrow afternoon. Have a lovely Friday ahead. Until tomorrow, this is Timothy Lowe saying have a lovely day, and we'll see you next time on the KPGA Tour.